Hello everybody and welcome back to my Grand Prix 2 career mode. Today we have round number 11 of the 1989 season, and the big news, as you can see in the title of the video, Franz Bermbach is back in action. So here we are in pre-qualifying, where of course Bermbach is not taking part because he's racing for Brabham this weekend. More on that in the news. Speaking of news, let's go through the news of the week. Where Alain Prost is said to not be too disheartened with his retirement in Hungary the last weekend. Stating that there's still a long way to go this year, I'm not worried. He still has the championship lead anyway. JJ Leto made his debut last weekend in Hungary and thanked the team for providing him with the opportunity. Leto will look to kick on now for the rest of the year. While Piquet lambasts team for the spin and reliability failure in Hungary, whilst the team say Piquet was overdriving the car, so tensions rising there at Lotus. And having made fantastic progress, Bermbach is set to return this weekend at Brabham, amidst a tense legal battle between driver and team, with Modena failing to qualify last weekend. This has given the chance for Brabham to make the switch. Bermbach, though, is still without a seat for 1990. In driver lineup news, Lotus have confirmed that Donnelly will have a full season with the team in 1990, whilst Coloni will retain the services of Brazilian driver Roberto Moreno. Minardi have announced an all-Italian lineup for next year with Pierluigi Martini to be joined by 1985 Le Mans winner Paolo Barilla. Rumours of Nigel Mansell potentially moving to Ferrari to partner Senna next year have reportedly fallen through. And finally, on to upgrades this weekend, where Minardi, Arrows and Osella have improved their car reliability. In addition to this, Minardi also have saved about 5 kilograms of weight on their car. Other weight-saving measures have been taken by Eurobrun, whilst Lotus and Ferrari have improvements to the overall horsepower of their respective cars. And now, attention turns to a very wet pre-qualifying session here in the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa, where Eric Bernard is the first driver to set a time of 54.9 ahead of Caffey at 55.4, Moreno 57.8. I've got to say, that's very, very competitive, those lap times. In practice for this weekend, obviously, in practice for this video, I was setting the 157s in the dry. So, of course, Bermbach coming back from a big injury, he's not expected to be right up at the top, but we'd hope to at least qualify on the grid. Eurobrun do have that weight-saving upgrade this weekend, so I'd imagine their sole driver is going to be slightly quicker. Hopefully, Gregor Wojtek, he's just about to set a lap time. It's a 2-minute lap time. Okay, never mind. I think he is slowest of everybody who's set a time so far. Anyway, enough of the pre-qualifying. Let's move on to the main qualifying session. But before we jump into that session, let's look at the pre-qualifying results, where Grillard and Arnoux were the Ligiers at the top of the table. Eric Bernard in 3rd place. It was a French 1-2-3, followed by Caffey and both Rials. Andrea de Cesaris in the 2nd, Delaris 7th, followed by Schneider, and then 9th and 10th place. Roberto Moreno in 11th for Coloni, his teammate Battaglia in 13th. Gabriel Tarquini in the AGS sandwiched between, so none of these teams here appearing in the main qualifying session. The top 3 fastest though, Ligier, Rial and Scuderia Italia. So the Roos get knocked out today and Rial are in for them. It wasn't as close as we maybe were expecting. And for the first time in months, I'm about to drive on Grand Prix 2 again. Away we go from the pits. Franz Bermbach here in quite a sunny Spa for qualifying. This is the 2nd qualifying session of the weekend. First qualifying session, of course, I just skipped just to see where the AI qualify. Right now, I think Ayrton Senna's quickest with a 1:46, which is a ridiculously quick time. I'm just hoping I make it onto the starting grid. Already, the traffic is a bit overwhelming. Everybody's going past me, which shows I clearly don't have pace, at least not on this outlap. This season, we only had 4 races, including 2 retirements. And the best of those races that we actually competed in was the first round of the season, wasn't it? I mean, the 2nd round of the season was the best. It was a San Marino Grand Prix. We actually finished the race. I think it was 12th place. There's a distance off my teammate, and then the other 3 races we raced in, it was retirements. Now, since I last played, thank you very much, Grillard. Since I last played, Jake from GP Laps released a force feedback mod for this, which I'm using now. Hopefully, it makes me more aware of the sliding of the car as we're about to embark on our first timed lap. Now, I'm using the base game version of Spa. Whether that's a good idea or not, I'm not too sure. I remember my original Grand Prix 2 career mode on this channel Spa threw up a lot of retirements and a lot of spins, more so than any other circuit. As we have the terrifying sight of Ayrton Senna's McLaren in my mirrors. He's going to go up the inside here in the middle sector. I'll let him go, but I'll let him go. Like I have a choice. He's about 7 seconds a lap quicker than me. Oh, that's a mistake. We've run wide, and we've lost the front wing, and we've spun. And that is the end of our first run. We'll hopefully get it back to the pits here. And into the pits we go. We need a new front wing. Probably new tyres as well. And we'll head back out onto the circuit. I think there's still a good 12 minutes or 13 minutes left in the session. We're fueled for 5 laps, and it's going to be 5 qualifying laps. Well, 4 qualifying laps, discounting the outlap, of course. I imagine quite a number of you will be watching for the first time since that Mexican Grand Prix where I got injured. I know a lot of you don't really like watching me watch the race, so you'd be happy to see that I'm actually back in the car. Right, here we go. About to start a flying lap. I'm targeting maybe a 153, 152, somewhere around there. And out the final corner and up towards the line, it looks to be maybe meeting my target. It's a 54.4 right now, which I think is roughly just above last place. At least based on the Q1 results. I don't think this second lap was as quick. Maybe roughly the same time. Okay, yeah, basically matching it. We'll go for one more lap here. I've been quite lucky with those first 2 laps. I didn't actually have any traffic and nobody trying to overtake me. Although now I'm pretty sure there's an arrows quite close behind. No, we're wide. We're wide. We're off the circuit. We surely lost a load of time there. And now we're off onto the gravel. Yeah, okay. Well, let's just hope that time is good enough to make it onto the grid. Well, right now, I'm pretty sure it won't be good enough because Volker Weidler is a 53.7. Thankfully, we've got 7 minutes left in the session, so we can go out again. I'm thinking we might need a very low 53 or a high 52 to make it onto the grid. The reason we're so slow is because Bermbach's coming back from a big injury, of course. So he's definitely not going to be up to speed just yet. Okay, it's all or nothing now for Franz Bermbach. This is make or break for the career, potentially. We are looking for a drive for next season, so we have to put in a good lap here. And it doesn't help that we've started with a little lock-up into turn 1. Up by 4.5 tenths in the first sector. It's looking good here. And up by 9 tenths in the second sector. It's all down to the final sector now. Full send through the final 2 chicanes and up towards the line. Is it enough for Franz Bermbach to not be last? Oh, it's a 52.5. Is it enough to qualify? I hope so. In this session, it's 23rd place, but of course, overall, I'm not sure. And we've messed up the Oh, we're into the wall. Huge crash there on our final run at Eau Rouge as well. We just have to hope that lap's good enough. That was a big crash as well. As we take a replay of that crash there from Bermbach, who was pushing hard on that last run, slightly wide going up Eau Rouge, and then, yeah, straight into the wall. It's a nasty one for the German, who's right back in the thick of the action. So let's have a look at the starting grid, where Senna claims pole position by a whole second ahead of Thierry Boutsen. Berger and Mansell, the 2 Ferraris, not separated by more than 4 thousandths of a second. They share row 2. Prost, the championship leader, in 5th, ahead of the previous championship leader, Patrese, in 6th. Herbert and Nannini, the 2 Benettons, on row 4, followed by Jean Alesi in 9th, and Eddie Cheever rounding out the top 10. It's 11th place for Ivan Capelli, and he's alongside Derek Warwick. Martin Brundle and Martin Donnelly, the 2 Martins, share row number 7, followed by Maurizio Gugelmin and Nelson Piquet, the 2 Brazilians. Jonathan Palmer in the 2nd Tyrrell in 17th, followed by Bertrand Gachot, Pierluigi Martini and Alex Caffi, the 2 Italian drivers, rounding out the top 20. It's 21st place for Christian Danner, which is an impressive performance from him. Andrea De Cesaris in 22nd, followed by Perez Sala and Bermbach making it onto the grid today. JJ Leto and Olivier Grillard join him on the grid, which means Rene Arnoux and Volker Weidler unfortunately miss out and will not start the Grand Prix today. And thankfully we did make it onto the grid. Starting in 24th position, the team have opted for a 2-stop strategy. It's a 44 lap race today, so we're boxing on lap 17 and lap 28. The main objective for me is just to reach the checker flag, honestly. Hopefully avoiding any mechanical failures, hopefully avoiding the drama and crashing and action that's going to go on around me, and just get to the end of the 44 laps. Let's jump into the race. And for the first time in a number of months, I line up on a Grand Prix 2 starting grid. And I'll be honest, I'm slightly nervous. We just want to stay out of trouble. That's the main objective, at least at the start. The lights are on in front of the drivers, and we are underway for the 1989 Belgian Grand Prix. And the initial getaway was pretty good there from Bermbach. Well, he's got a car on his right-hand side. Got to be careful of JJ Leto. I'm very cautious here into the very tight first corner. It's a hairpin turning to the right. I'm going to try and follow the Dallara of De Cesaris through on the outside. Seems to be the favourable line. 22nd place on the exit there on the first corner. Now we've got a run on Pierluigi Martini in the Minardi. You know what, why not? Let's go for it. Up towards Eau Rouge. We've gone through. Brilliant move there from Bermbach. He is stating what he's about on his return here to the sport. 21st place, but the Minardi of Martini now with a run down the Kemmel straight, trying to fight back. They're going 3 wide up ahead. De Cesaris doesn't know where to go. He's trying to get past... Is that one of the Benettons? No, one of the Tyrrells. I think it's Jonathan Palmer. Under braking at the end of the straight. We are still in 20. Oh, we've been hit! We've been hit there. Bullied off the circuit by Martini. Welcome back to Formula 1, says Pierluigi Martini. And Franz Bermbach falls all the way down to last place. Now, my main objective of staying clear of any carnage at the start, well, we failed. It wasn't even my fault for once. I think Martini just got a bit too trigger happy around that chicane and bumped into me. Luckily, though, no damage done to the car, so it could be worse. Senna leads Boutsen after the first lap has concluded, up at the front. Meanwhile, at the back, Bermbach, he's got some work to do to close up to the pack. Now, during the practice sessions and my testing at this circuit, I couldn't really complete more than about 7 laps without spinning. It's been that long since I've played this game. But I have put in a decent amount of practice for this race, so I'm just hoping I can get to the end. I might not be 100% up to speed. We're not expecting Bermbach to be up to speed. He's been away for about 4 months away from Formula 1, so there's definitely just a bit of teething issues that we have to work through before we're back up to our best. We haven't really seen Bermbach's best yet either this season. Senna and Boutsen are pulling away by a big margin per lap. They're already about 6 or 7 seconds clear of third place, who I believe is Nigel Mansell ahead of Alan Prost in fourth. And there is a Lotus going very slowly on the exit of the first corner. I believe that's Martin Donnelly. I think that's Martin Donnelly stopping. No, it's Nelson Piquet. Nelson Piquet out with transmission issues. He was complaining about the team after his retirement last time out at the previous race. And the team was actually blaming Nelson Piquet for overdriving the car. And maybe they're going to say the same thing about that retirement there. So the real-life 1989 Belgian Grand Prix was ran in soaking wet conditions, similar to what we saw in 1998. Thankfully, for Bermbach and myself getting back used to this game, I'm glad we've got a nice, dry, sunny circuit today with more grip. Just continuing to build up the pace and the comfortability with the car right now. I'm definitely quicker than a handful of drivers ahead. We've got Olivier Grillard in the Sol Ligier on the grid today, right in front of me. I've got to be cautious here because some drivers like to lift off through these flat left-handers, and Grillard's one of those, so we've got to be very careful. We may be able to sniff an opportunity to the inside of the bus stop chicane. No, not quite close enough. I don't want to take any risky moves anyway. It's a long race. Great exit out the first corner, and maybe a run on Grillard down the hill. This is going to be a very risky move. And I said we're not in for risky moves today, so I'm going to back out of that one and hopefully get him up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon onto the Kemmel straight. That was a bit too much understeer for my liking. I don't think we're going to be quite close enough to mount an attack down this straight. Saying that, we are creeping closer and closer and closer to the Frenchman, and I'll go to the inside, and under braking we're going to make that position up. That is now second to last place. Through we go. There's a yellow flag out in the final chicane, so caution, caution. There's a driver stopped on the side there. That's one of the Tyrrells. And it was Jonathan Palmer going through the final chicane here, just clipping the curb a bit too much, spinning the car around, colliding with the wall, but no damage done, and he rejoins in last place. So Grillard has been dispatched. Next up is Christian Danner, who had a great qualifying performance of 21st. A run down the hill on Christian Danner to the inside for Pouon. That's very risky, but Pouon's a much tighter corner back in the day, apparently, according to this version of the layout at least. And Thierry Boutsen retiring from second place with a transmission issue. That's the same problem that saw Nelson Piquet retire a couple laps ago. And that's a big retirement. Boutsen, I think that's his third retirement of the season. Or at least second full retirement. I think it was classified in one of the races he actually failed to finish. No! No! Bermbach's lost it. Round he goes. We've done the exact same thing as Palmer. We'll be very careful rejoining. I think the circuit's clear. And we'll rejoin just ahead of Jonathan Palmer down in 24th position. But it didn't take long to make a mistake. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen at some point. I'm surprised it happened there, though. Thankfully, we didn't lose a front wing. That could have been much worse if we lost the front wing and had to do a whole lap without one. I suppose I'll just... Oh, Ayrton Senna out with the transmission problem. What is going on today? Gearbox issues galore today. And Alain Prost, who started down in about 5th place, he now leads the Grand Prix. Senna, who's moving to Ferrari for next year amidst terrible reliability at McLaren this year. But it's happened again. He's been struck by reliability woes race after race. He's been hit by another one here today. That's pretty big. Senna going out so early on as well. We're setting some good lap times as well. Low 55s. So it's 6 seconds to Olivier Grillard. That's another personal best lap. The first lap we've done in the 154s in this race. Jonathan Palmer is closing in, but we are catching Grillard by about 3 seconds a lap right now. It's incredible how different my expectation of this season going into it is to the reality. I was expecting it would be a battle between Herbert, Alesi and Bermbach to be the best of the rookies this year. And it's been the complete opposite. Herbert's been running away with that honour. Alesi's been pretty good himself. He scored a 4th place finish, of course, this year. But Bermbach, well, he's missed most of the year, hasn't he, with that unfortunate leg break that he suffered in Mexico. My debut season as Bermbach has been more on the level of Olivier Grillard in the Ligier, rather than Johnny Herbert in the Benetton. Slight mistake there. It's going to give Jonathan Palmer maybe a sniff of an opportunity in this middle sector, so we've got to be careful. On the topic of Andrea De Cesaris, there are slight rumours going around that he could fill the vacant seat at Ferrari alongside Ayrton Senna, which is baffling to me, but I don't know the ins and outs of the politics around it. Of course, De Cesaris has driven at Alfa Romeo for about 5 seasons. He's an Italian himself, as we've seen another retirement. It's Pierluigi Martini with a water leak. He's stopped there on the left. And that's karma for what he did earlier to me. Karma, well, there's Palmer behind me. And Palmer shaping up for a move down towards turn 1. He thinks better of it, stays behind for now. Meanwhile, up at the front, we have Alain Prost leading Nigel Mansell by 6 seconds. Riccardo Patrese completes the top 3. Berger, Chiva and Herbert running the points. Then it's Nannini, Warwick, Capelli and Jean Alesi, the rookie, in 10th position at the moment. My teammate Martin Brundle currently in 13th place. We really need to start getting a move on. I want to be moving past Olivier Grillard now. But we are now under pressure from the Tyrrell of Jonathan Palmer. And the Tyrrell seems to be set up much better for this circuit than my Brabham. And through goes Palmer into 21st place. That's Palmer on the inside of Grillard in Pouon. That's not going to work, and that has allowed Bermbach to slip through on the inside. They're still side by side. Palmer ran off the road. He's spun. He's spun around. Palmer. Can you blame Bermbach for that? I'm not sure. We'll have to take a replay. So Palmer went up the inside of Grillard, failed to make the move. Bermbach then capitalises. And Palmer, I think he just ran wide into the wall and spun the car. That's completely Jonathan Palmer's fault. His second spin of the afternoon. Now, if we can just set this one up the hill, I think we'll make it a very easy move. Sparks flying off the back of the Ligier ahead. And Grillard is under huge pressure here from Franz Bermbach, who moves over to the left-hand side on the Kemmel Straight. We are side by side with the Ligier. It's Ligier on the right, Brabham on the left. Bermbach moves through and into 20th place. And that's Martin Brundle, the teammate, into the pits on lap 11. And we are going to box on, I think it was lap 17. So lap 11, that's very early for Brundle. Maybe indicating a 3-stop strategy. Spa is usually one of those circuits where you lose the least amount of time in the pits. Especially on this older layout when you go straight into the pits here instead of going around the slightly slower chicanes. Oh, and that's a mistake there. Oh, into the wall goes Christian Danner. He's kept the car running. That Real is still in the race. That was a huge moment. I'm not sure how he survived that one. Not him himself. I meant his car. How is he still in the race? He lost it on the way up, went wide across that grass, spun the car into the wall on the right-hand side, and he's got away with it. I think he's still in the race. Or he might be out of the race, actually. I think he may have broke the suspension. Yep, he's stopped. He's stopped on circuit. I think that was enough damage to the car to warrant a retirement. And it goes down as a transmission issue. I think he hit the wall so hard that his gearbox broke. Now, the Dallara in front, I think, has just had a pit stop. So it might be slightly quicker than Bermbach at this stage. Quite a lot of action in the pits, though. Gerhard Berger's in the pits for back-to-back laps. I think Berger may have ran into some problems on the previous lap. Because I think we're actually moving past Berger right now, which is a shock to say. Bermbach is overtaking Berger. Yeah, We've moved past him. We've also moved past Andrea de Cesaris just rejoining. So we're up to 17th place. And we've got a good run here on the lead Dallara. We'll go to the left-hand side on Alex Caffey. And down the Kemmel Straight we go. Bermbach putting on some sort of overtaking masterclass today. That's 16th place now. Next up is the Minardi of Luis Perez Sala. His teammate Martini is the guy who bundled me off the circuit on lap 1. Perez Sala is 5 seconds up the road right now. He's the next target. We still have 4.5 laps of fuel left. And 1 lap later, we are over a second a lap quicker than Perez Sala, which is a good sign. I imagine he must have boxed already. And we still have 2 laps to go in this stint. I think we may be able to catch Perez Sala before we have to box. Well, if it was modern Formula 1, we'd have DRS right now on Luis Perez Sala. Luis Perez Sala was active in Formula 1 during the DRS era. If you remember, he was the HRT team manager back in the day. And we got a great run here in the 3rd sector. We're going to pull side by side and hopefully edge ahead of the Minardi. Oh, no, we're not. Minardi holding on to the place. That Minardi has some serious speed in a straight line. We'll jump in the slipstream again and have a run down towards the final chicane, the bus stop chicane. Up the inside we go to take that place away from the Spanish driver. As we now start lap 17, we're boxing at the end of this lap. We have one of the Onyx drivers in the pits, which I imagine is JJ Leto. And into the pits goes Franz Bermbach, his first pit stop whilst back in his seat at Brabham. And we're putting in 13 laps of fuel, so it's going to be a nice short second stint here to hopefully close up to the drivers ahead after we have made a couple of mistakes today. Away we go. And away we... Oh, we got a brake problem. Oh, no. We've just come out of the pits and now we've got a brake issue and we're going to have to go straight back into the pits next lap. I've never encountered a brake issue on this game, so I'm not sure what happens when I apply the brakes at the end of the straight. I'm going to be cautious here. Yeah, they're not very effective, let's put it that way. And we have Alan Prost, the race leader, about to lap me. We have to just be so careful into the braking zone. Thank you very much, Prost. And we've lost the front wing and we've knocked Prost off the track. Now, Prost should have been told, maybe over the radio, that Bermbach has a brake issue. So when you overtake him, don't move back into the racing line in front of him. But that's exactly what Prost does. So I'm just coasting around. And Prost moves past me and then goes straight back over to the left-hand side of the circuit. I don't know. I can't do anything else to avoid him. So I punt him off the circuit. Off he goes. And he loses a few seconds from that. So this is going to change the strategy. I'm thinking we box and fill up fuel to the end of this race. We don't have to do an extra stop. I don't know how long the brake issue is going to take to fix, though. We got that at the worst time possible. The moment we left the pits was when we were hit with a brake problem. You can't get much more unlucky than that, as in goes Bermbach yet again on back-to-back laps. I can barely slow down for the pit lane speed limit, and in we go. Going to fill up to the end of the race now. So 28 laps of fuel going into the car. The brake issue is fixed, and away we go. We are now running 21st out of 21. Prost comes in from first place to repair the damage caused by the incident with Franz Bermbach. And Nigel Mansell takes the race lead. Okay, here we go. Oh, and de Cesaris loses it in Lecombe. And around he goes. And he's going to get going again with no damage done to his car. But there's a mistake there from the Italian. As we get lapped by Nigel Mansell, he'll be safe in the knowledge that Franz Bermbach behind him does not have a brake issue anymore. So we're not going to rear end him off the circuit. So it's Mansell, Senna, Patrese, the top 3 right now. And Senna is fast approaching. Not Senna, sorry, Prost. Senna's out the race, of course. Prost fast approaching from the rear. So he's going to lap me yet again. At potentially the same place he lapped me previously. And there goes Prost to the inside of Pouhon corner. He puts a lap on Franz Bermbach this time. No incident between the two drivers. So Luis Perez Sala boxes for the first time in this race. That's interesting. So when we were battling the Minardi, he hadn't just come out the pits. He was essentially on the same strategy as us almost. I think he might be on a one-stop. Boxing on the end of lap 20. And there goes Riccardo Patrese to put a lap on me. So it's 3 different constructors in the top 3. And it's the 3 constructors battling for the team's championship this year. And there's a car off there. That's Riccardo Patrese. He's into the gravel. I think that might have just been a... No, it's a transmission problem. How many drivers have retired today due to the same issue? Patrese off and out of the race. That is both Williams out. We've had Ayrton Senna retire as well. So 3 of the top 6 in the championship out of the race. So Olivier Grillard in the Ligier, 6 seconds up the road. And finally, we'll be back ahead of last place. And we're almost 2 seconds a lap quicker than Olivier Grillard right now. We have the bit between our teeth. But like I said, going into this, the objective is just to reach the checker flag. Whether it's last place or not doesn't really matter. Though I'd like to show some of the other teams on the grid who have options to sign drivers for next season, who have seats open, that we are available and we have a good future ahead of us. My career, Bermbach's career, almost stalled completely with the leg break in Mexico. We've thankfully got another bite at the cherry. So right now we have Nigel Mansell leading the way. We're about half race distance now, 2 seconds ahead of Alain Prost. Alessandro Nannini finds himself in 3rd place in the Benetton. We have Cheever, Herbert and Warwick completing the top 6. So both Benetton and Arrows on for some good points today. Gugelmin just outside the top 6 and 7th, followed by Donnelly, who's confirmed at Lotus for next season. Alazy, the highest rookie on the grid right now. And Martin Brundle, you can't discount him for some points today. He's in 9th position for Brabham right now. Brundle's had 2 7th place finishes this year so far and an 8th place finish. And yet he's still not scoring points. He's desperate for some World Championship points. Some corners on this version of Spa are so much tighter than they are in the modern version. Or at least on the laser scanned versions on various different modern racing games and sims. Oh, there's a mistake and we've caught it. Thanks to the force feedback mod by GP Laps, I was able to catch that spin. And if you've not tried that out for GP2, I'd highly suggest going and checking that one out. And we're still behind Grillard. I think my pace has dropped off a little bit over the past few laps. But whoa! Nope, we've spun. Brilliant. There's a car coming, so I have to be careful here. It's an Arrows. And we'll get facing the right way. So I've lost about 10 seconds from that, unfortunately. Just jumped on the throttle too early, I'm guessing. Or I had too much rotation in the car whilst speeding out the corner. Maybe we are just destined to finish last today. Maybe we are. I don't know. 20th out of 20. We got very close to overtaking Grillard there. And this is what happened to Derek Warwick down the main straight. He just pulls off to the side of the circuit. That's a terrible place to stop. Right on the apex of turn 1. He's out the race. There's a yellow flag again. It's Andrea de Cesaris out with, surprise, surprise, a transmission problem. So we're going to move past the Delara. So the gap to Olivier Grillard, that's what we care about right now. Let's find out what it is. It is 8 seconds to Grillard. That's the objective. Let's catch Olivier Grillard. We've still got 16 laps to go. I don't know whether we'll go to the end without making another pit stop or not, because the tyres by the end of this stint are going to be very, very worn. We need a couple more of those top drivers to retire from the race, and Martin Brundle might actually score points, which would be very nice to see. Brundle's yet to score points this season. There's a very slow-moving car up ahead. Is that Olivier Grillard? Are we being robbed of the chance to overtake him in a fair fight? Yep, Grillard's going slow. Would it be a transmission issue? It's a loose wheel that sees Grillard, the one and only Ligier today, out of the race. And we are still in last place. So Luis Perez-Sala is the next car up the road. 12 seconds up the road, which will be the battle for second to last place, but it's better than last place. There's loads of drivers in for their second stops now. Martin Donnelly just boxed from 6th position. Could Donnelly get his first points today? That would be huge news. It was announced in the news prior to this race that Donnelly is announced as a full-term driver next year for Lotus. We've just matched my fastest lap of the race. So, even with the tyres slightly worn, as you can see with their lighter colour, we are still going pretty quick. There's a yellow flag in the middle sector. That might actually be for my teammate, or Jean Alazy. Well, first up, we got JJ Later going backwards at Eau Rouge. I don't know. That is not the mistake I was looking for, but he's okay. Interesting. And it was indeed Martin Brundle who's chasing Jean Alazy for 10th position. Tries to go for a move up the inside. Gets it all wrong. Wide he goes at Pouon and spins into the gravel. He's still in the race, but that may have cost him a very slim chance at points. And Nigel Mansell boxes from the race lead. So that's going to give the lead to Alain Prost in the McLaren. Well, this race, we're at 3/4 race distance. It's been a bit all over the place, really. We've had a few mistakes. We've also been on the end of a few bad luck moments, being punted off the circuit on lap 1. And then the brake issue after we came out the pits. I don't know how much time we lost through that. I don't think we can be judged too harshly. It's our first race back. And we're not the only ones making mistakes. Loads of other drivers have had spins. Even my teammate Brundle had a spin on the most recent lap. And we are less than 10 seconds behind Luis Perez-Sala now. That's good to see. On a good lap, we are 2 seconds a lap quicker than Perez Salah, who just got passed by Jonathan Palmer a couple of laps ago. Palmer was in the pits again. I imagine on the fresh tyres, though, Palmer is much quicker than both me and the Minardi in front of me. Now, just like for the F1 Challenge Series, if you have any suggestions for some realistic or maybe not so realistic driver transfers and team changes, please let me know down in the comments below, because it really helps me shape the grid for the future seasons, as I'm about to get lapped here by Johnny Herbert's Benetton. Bermbach himself, he needs to find a space on the grid next year. Modena and Brundles both confirmed at Brabham for 1989. Yet Franz Bermbach, he's got to impress somebody. I feel like if he doesn't impress in the next few rounds, Zach Speed could be a potential opportunity. With Bermbach's money, his backing, and his, German ancestry, I suppose, could work well at Zach Speed. Other than that, there's probably a few spots open in the midfield, maybe at Tyrrell, for example. So with only 10 laps to go, it is Alain Prost leading the way. He is 14 seconds clear of second place Nigel Mansell. Eddie Cheever finds himself in third, ahead of Alessandro Nannini somehow. Gerhard Berger's down in 8th place, almost a lap down. Herbert and Gugelmin complete the points right now. Gugelmin versus Donnelly, that could be the battle for the final points position, but you can't discount Gerhard Berger. And after the mistake, Martin Brundle's down in 14th place. He is not scoring points today. Even JJ Leto's ahead of him, who was facing and driving the wrong way a few laps ago at Eau Rouge. I don't think these tyres have much more life left in them, but as long as they can reach the checker flag, that's all we need. And we have some good news. The gap to Perez Salah has come down quite a lot in the past number of laps. I think we're about 5 seconds behind the Minardi now. So after everything that has happened this afternoon, we may still finish above last place, which would be a great recovery drive after what happened on lap 1. Nannini in for a very late pit stop. I think that might cost him points today. He was looking good for some points. The driver who's been down on form at the start of the season, but he's really recovered in the past few rounds. The Benetton's delight. And Johnny Herbert moves past his teammate as Nannini rejoins, I think, in 5th position. There's a yellow flag at the final chicane. I think one of the March drivers may have just made a mistake. Oh yeah, that's Gugelmin facing the wrong way, and the way he goes eventually, that's put him outside the points places though. Gugelmin drops to 8th position. And here is the battle for 16th position. It's Luis Perez Salah in front of Franz Bermbach. And Bermbach would dearly like to overtake the Minardi, to show the grid that he's not going anywhere. He's here to stay in Formula 1. And a bit of slipstream is going to help the Brabham big time here. We'll be side by side as we head towards Blanchimont. On the outside is Bermbach. On the inside is Perez Salah, who just forces his way in front of Bermbach's car to stay ahead for the time being. There's going to be no room through on the inside of the bus stop chicane, but maybe into the first corner, which name I cannot remember. Might be a chance to scythe our way up the inside, though I think we may just be a bit too far back, and we are. Well, take 2, and this time it's going to be a run down the Camel Straight, though we do have Alessandro Nannini trying to lap Bermbach at the same time. So there goes Nannini, and he's got the slipstream on the Minardi in front of him. He's going to go to the inside. That's good. That may help me out here as we close up right to the back of Perez Salah. He still does not budge out the way, though. Maybe down the hill. Maybe that's my chance if we dive to the inside now. Is there space? We don't want to go too wide, though. We don't want to run into that gravel. And through goes Bermbach. He is officially not last. I think that's where our progress will end, though, because Jonathan Palmer, the next driver up the road, is already going around the first corner. He's miles ahead. Alessandro Nannini on his fresh tyres has closed right up to the back of Johnny Herbert in the battle for 4th place. So that is a Benetton intra-team battle, which is very important to both drivers. We know Herbert is leaving the team for McLaren next year, whilst Alessandro Nannini will be partnering Nelson Piquet at the team in 1990. And Gugelmin with a very late stop. That's got to be to fix a problem with the car. So his day's going from bad to worse now. The chance at points have slipped away. He made that mistake, and now he has a car problem. I'll be very satisfied with reaching the finish line. It's been a very long time since I've played Grand Prix 2. As there's a driver stopped up ahead, it's Jonathan Palmer. Another gearbox problem, and Palmer is out of the race. He's ascending to the heavens behind, and we've gained another position. I think Brundle's only about 25 seconds ahead of me. Without the incidents, without the problems, we would have been ahead of Martin Brundle this afternoon. There's a yellow flag out, and that is one of the Benettons. It's Nannini. Oh, dearie me. He's been cost a 4th place finish here. Alessandro Nannini very late on. That'll be on the final lap of the race for him. As across the line, Alain Prost wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Brilliant victory for Prost, who extends his championship lead. And that's a slow-moving De Cesaris, is it? I think it is. Okay, we've just gained another place. Oh, it's Alex Caffey who made a mistake. So Caffey goes around. So we do gain another place. He's made a massive mistake there at Eau Rouge. Lucky to continue in this Grand Prix. Unfortunately, though, I think Alessandro Nannini will still finish ahead of me because he started the final lap. And Bermbach rounding the final corners for the final time. It's going to be 14th place on the German's return to the sport. A few issues here and there, but overall I think we can be very happy with that one. And the post-race scrutineering, unfortunately for Eddie Cheever, picked up his car as being illegal. He's been disqualified from the results. It means Prost, Mansell and Herbert complete the podium. That's Herbert's third place finish of the season and third place finish in the past 5 races. Nannini manages to get points somehow, even though he retired on the final lap. And Martin Donnelly in 6th position gets his first points of the season. Franz Bermbach will be promoted to 13th because of Cheever's disqualification. So 11th and 13th for the Brabham team today. Jonathan Palmer finishes 4 laps down. He's classified, although he did, of course, have that mechanical failure. So really, 14 drivers got to the end, 15 including Cheever, without any issues. Then a load of transmission issues today, which I imagine loads of the teams and the governing body will probably be looking into why that happened. Ayrton Senna got the fastest lap as well as pole position this weekend. He was by far the quickest driver out there this weekend, but his car, of course, failed him. In the Drivers' Championship, Prost is now ahead of Mansell by 4 whole points. He's pulled away there by a further 3. Thierry Boutsen and Patrese Senna not scoring points today. Gerhard Berger did get 3 points for 4th position. Johnny Herbert scoring great points today. He's on 20 for the season. Ridiculous amount considering he is only a rookie. Cheever Nannini, Piquet Alesi Palmer remain where they are. And of course, we've seen Martin Donnelly pick up his first points of the season. He's the 14th driver this year to score points in the Teams Championship. McLaren first still. Williams now ahead of Ferrari have closed in on Williams because Williams not scoring today. Lotus picking up a point, of course, courtesy of Martin Donnelly. And that, my friends, is the end of this episode. If you enjoyed that one, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. And I'll see you all for next week's round, which is round 12 of the season. It's the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. See you there. Goodbye.